Good evening, everyone. It's evening my local time anyway, here at Tpull's Corner. This is Travis, and our opponent is Surgical Insanity, as we get to go first. And let's just see, what kind of stuff do we have here? We've got some removal. And we've got some other neat stuff. And we're up against Demir colors. Alright, well, let's see if this resolves in the first place. If it does, we could already have some damage to them. Aha! Ha ha ha! The plan is already working. Didn't even need to attack, and we've already got first blood. I think we just need to get rid of the Preacher now, so we'll just do a Scorching Shot. And let's go draw another card and see what else we can get. Do we have 3 colors here? No. Let's see. They get to cloak something, eh? Well, if we do Roaring Furnace, number of cards in my hand, I'll have 4. It's just enough. And now we can bring that out, and now we can bring out another Raptor. They might have removal. They do. We don't need to worry about our graveyard getting exiled. We don't have any stuff to bring out of there anyway. And they start digging. And it's only 1. I don't have any blues, so the Steaming Sauna, that room is going to remain unlocked. And we really want to wait for them to put out other creatures. And they've had a couple of different creatures already, so we know they got some stuff. Vampires this time. Vampires and assassins. Well, let's have 3 damage to this thing here. And then we'll just take a break. We can't get through the fog bank just yet. We're both starting to run low on cards. Another Preacher. Now this has Death Touch, so if I make it deal damage to itself, that should still kill it, even though it's not normally enough power. Let's see. Yeah, let's try it. The Death Touch should kill itself. Yes. Perfect. In the meantime, let's keep drawing. That part is good. We'll put down another Friendly Teddy. And we'll put down Queen Brawny. And now we're starting to look like we might be able to attack soon. Except now they have 7 mana and they could probably do a bomb. Let's go ahead and get rid of one of the Friendly Teddies. We don't get any card draw because they die. They don't die, they get exiled instead. You would think they wouldn't care as much. Okay, that's just to do damage to creatures. Let's do an attack first. We'll go ahead and let the block happen. And then we're going to go ahead and do this. I did that wrong. I only have 1 card left in my hand. I need 2. So the fog bank survives. I messed that up. But we solved We had 3 or more sources that dealt damage for the turn, so we solved the case of the burning masks. So we can actually get some more card draw in here soon. They take my creature, and it gets Death Touch now. And it's an assassin. Alright. There's no cost to exile to sacrifice the case. I can choose one of them only? Well, this matches the theme. So that's what we're going to do. And now that we have a couple of rooms out, you're going to hear that clacking because every single movement to a phase, evidently somebody is opening the door and going in and out of the roaring furnace. Just part of the never-ending horrible gifts that Duskborn keeps on giving to us. Okay, if we block with Friendly Teddy, then we both get to draw a card. If they draw a card, they lose a life. What? What is this? What have they been holding on to? So we lose a token, but the draw card stuff starts working. And I'm starting to flood out with land instead. Alright. We now have a legendary creature out, and they drew a card, and it cost them 4 points instead of 1 because we have Oger. If a red source you control would deal an amount of non-combat damage less, that source deals damage equal to Oger. Oh, we're going to definitely block that because you're going to draw another card, and that's going to be another 4 points of damage to you. You're just killing yourself now. Wait a sec. Oh, it's not red combat damage. I'm sorry. The artifacts are just going to continue to do 1 damage. Ah, but now we have Broken Needlehead. And we also have another Scytheclaw Raptor. And this should... Yeah, they didn't even wait for it. The draw was going to kill them. This is an evil deck. I say that because it's part of a playlist. Let's see, what do we get? Gallant Strike? I have not used that. I'm trying to think of when I would. Better than that? Yeah, well. Let's go in and show you this deck. It's called the Painful Draw. And it's part of the Kaizen Evil playlist, which is where we started with the most low-down, dirty, disgusting decks we could think of, the most evil, repulsive things you could ever dream of. But using the Kaizen principle, we're getting 1% better with each new deck. And we're improving. So we're getting less evil as we go. So we've gone up a couple of rungs, you know, in Dante's Inferno. And we're getting closer to, you know, getting out of the pits of hell. And this one is still kind of evil because it kind of turns Magic's rules on its ears. And it turns something that should be good into something that you're dreading. And that's just because we're so many sets and everything's going by so fast. I'm like, normally I've got enough cards in my collection that I can just build off of whatever limitations I have. In this case, there's limits on how many cards I can actually accumulate in a given time period. And I'm like, I get an idea for a deck, and I go now and I go look for these things. It's like, excuse me, I don't have all the cards that I need that are the ones that I really want. So I needed a Scrawling Crawler. I needed a couple of those. Costs 3. It's an artifact creature. 3/2. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card. Whenever an opponent their turn, if Crawler's still around, they've lost 2 points automatically. We combine that with 4 copies of Razorkin Needlehead. I needed 2 or 3 of these. The creature turn again. Whenever an opponent draws a card, this creature deals a damage to them. So if we build up some of these, they're really going to the draw phase, something that's like a little bit of Christmas every time, with the possibility that we'll get something good, and it turns into something that's hurting them. And this was an idea I had with some new expansions that came out just before the Great Rotation. I was going to make a deck with Sheoldred, and it would just been so much easier. But I ran out of time, so we had rotation, and Sheoldred went away, and I'm like, well, so much for that idea. But then I started looking at some of the other cards, and I'm like, well, hang on now, we can still do this. So to help us out, we've got a couple of explosive derailment spree cards from Thunder Junction. So if they are using artifacts, we can destroy their artifacts. Otherwise, it's just creature removal. If they try and do a bunch of 1/1s, we've got Tectonic Hazard to do 1 damage. Also, there's a reason we have such small, cheap spells. I'll get to that in a moment. For the lands, we've just got 1 Demolition Field to take out special lands and a couple of Hidden Volcanoes to discover 4. And you notice most of what we have is 4 or less. Actually, everything we have is 4 or less. We don't have blue. We're not using Steaming Sauna. We're just using 4 copies of Roaring Furnace. The room deals damage equal to the number of cards in your hand to target creature and opponent controls. So it's just a 2-mana removal card that can do any sort of, it can do 1 damage, it can do 5 damage. Depends on how many cards you have in your hand. So really, we have 1 card that's 4. Discover 4s, they're going to hit something no matter what. They're not going to skip past any cards. 1 Obliterating Bolt to do 4 damage and exile a creature or planeswalker. 4 Playful Shoves to deal 1 damage, draw a card. 1 Sabatender. This one's from Final Fantasy. 2/1 with Reach. Landfall whenever a land you control enters. This creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. We went over the Needlehead and the Crawler, of course. 2 Scorching Shots to do 5 damage to target creature. 4 copies of Friendly Teddy. When this creature dies, each player draws a card. We can sort of increase our damage from the Needlehead and the Crawler if we have some of those down, and then we get rid of our Friendly Teddy. So it's always preferred that we get these on the ground first and that they survive a little bit, so then we can sort of add on to the synergy in the plan. I've got 1 Adrenaline Jockey from Aetherdrift, 3/3 Minotaur Pilot. Whenever a player casts a spell, if it's not their turn, this creature deals 4 damage to them. Notice it can burn you too. If you cast a spell on their turn, this will do 4 damage to me as well. Whenever you activate an exhaust ability, put a +1/+1 counter. I don't think we bothered with that this particular deck construction, so we're just ignoring the bottom half. We want them to not read the card, basically. That happens a lot. And we'll put this down, and maybe they'll forget at some point, even if they did first realize it. They'll see the need to play an instant. For a lot of players, it's just like muscle memory, even if they know better. And you can do 4 accidental damage to them. Cut Propulsion. Target creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. If that creature has flying, it deals twice that much damage to itself instead. It is amazing, since I started putting this card into this deck, how many creatures that have come out that have power less than their toughness. And that I could play this card and it will not do anything to them. It wouldn't be enough. However, if they're small enough, maybe we can give them a Playful Shove and do that 1 final point of damage. I've got Queen Brawny, a legendary human noble from Final Fantasy 2/1 with prowess. Whenever she attacks, you create a 0/1 black wizard creature token with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, the token deals 1 damage to each opponent. So we've got a couple of other cards that also deal 1 damage to the opponent, even though it's not a draw. Scytheclaw Raptor can come in handy whenever a player casts a spell if it's not the turn. This creature also does 4 damage to them. This one's from Ixalan. 4/3 Dinosaur. Vengeful Possession, just 1 of these. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Tap it, gains haste. You may discard a card if you do draw a card. And so this can be kind of fun. This is in case we get in over our head and they have something that we just can't take care of. Maybe it'll be close enough to the end game that we can surprise them with this kind of taking over the control. Case of the Burning Mass, this is really my way of getting card draw advantage. When it enters, you deal 3 damage to target creature. To solve it, 3 or more sources you control deal damage this turn. So if we have something like Cut Propulsion and a Tectonic Hazard and a Playful Shove, or maybe 3 Playful Shoves, that kind of thing, we've got enough cheap stuff. It shouldn't be too hard to solve this once we get going a little bit. Then you sacrifice the case, you exile the top 3 cards of your library whenever you're ready for it. You only get to choose 1 of them, and you have to pay for the mana for it, but you can play that card for that turn. It's not the best card in the world, but, it's good. It'll enable you later on in the game, when you have untapped mana, you feel like you have enough, and here we're only going to need 4 for a single spell, right? Then we can at least dig three copies into our library. If we're, you know, full up on lands, maybe it draws a couple of lands that we don't need, and we can actually get to a good spell. Maybe if we're starved for land, maybe that'll be a good point to just draw an extra land. And then, of course, Odger Axonel Deepest Might, 4/4 with Trample. If a red source you control would deal an amount of non-combat damage less than his power, then that source deals damage equal to the power instead of Odger Axonel. So that's 4 damage no matter what, unless the opponent casts some sort of enchantment that reduces his power. When it dies, you return to the battlefield tapped and transformed into the Temple of Power you see depicted there to the right. And while it's a land, you can transform it. You have to pay 3 and tap the land. You can only activate it if red sources you control dealt 4 or more non-combat damage that turn, and only as a sorcery. So a little bit harder than a lot of the other cards from Ixalan to transform back into their legendary form. That's the idea. And it's a little bit of insidious evil because this whole game centers around card draw. You've probably heard the term card draw advantage. It's not a foreign concept to other games as well, but it's really, really tied into Magic the Gathering. It's really tied into trading card games usually. This is where we get our... Seriously? They gave me 1 land? Oh, Arena doesn't do that to me in Standard. Somebody's desperate. Well, we're going to keep 6. I guess we put the expensive one back for now. Wow, I can't remember the last time in regular Standard where I have the regular complement of lands and they only give me 1 land. That's just depressing. Yeah, let's keep on going. We're not going to play the Playful Shove yet. We've got the Roaring Furnace. If they put down some cards, we're going to need this stuff. Let's put down the Adrenaline Jockey. It looks like they're stopping to read the card. Standard deck size, yes. They make a creature with Warrior Sword. Alright. 4/3 Warrior. What do we want to do against that? We could get rid of the equipment. I think I like that. Oh, it's an instant. You know what? Let's swing in. Let's just trade. They're going to take the damage. Okay, now we get rid of it. Pay the 3, get rid of you. We can have the 1/1 stay there, right? Now Roaring Furnace becomes less powerful. Cheap removal that way. Freya Crescent. I think Frey is worth getting rid of now. And then we're not going to do anything else. Well, I'm not worried about a 1/1 that has nothing on it for right now. A lot of equipment stuff being used here. Let's use Scorching Shot to get rid of that. Still got a number of cards there. Another equipment. Alright, we've only got 4. Shoot. Let's try this, see if they have an instant. No, evidently not. They've got an instant there. Yeah, they've got an artifact this time. Alright, we need to be getting rid of some of this stuff. Get rid of you. And put down Razorkin Needlehead. I'm not expecting them to have another removal right now. So the damage begins. Hello. +1/+1 counter. They had 7? Wait. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, okay, white Arside gives them that there. Shoot. That's kind of tough. I'm gonna have to start trading, and I think I'm dead. Yeah, they got me. That I have not had to face against that card before. And I don't really have a board wipe in the deck. This is with the fast pace of how they're releasing all the sets lately. There are some cards that I have not encountered before. And some of the players get upset when they start to get beat by cards they're not even familiar with and haven't had a chance to get themselves. This was actually kind of more in line with the original intentions of Richard Garfield when he created the game. Now, you weren't supposed to know all the cards. You were supposed to enjoy the process of discovery. You'd go meet your friend, play the game. They had already opened up some stuff, and you'd learn by them playing spells. You know, you had bought a few packs, they had bought a few packs, you had enough for your starting deck maybe, and then you really did enjoy the process of discovery. They'd like play a card you never seen before, and you're like, whoa, what is that? Show me that. Let me look at that again. And I think the decisions have changed at Wizards of the Coast. Their philosophy has changed. Before, with the advent of the internet, the game changed. Everybody learned a lot faster by, you know, sharing information, putting it all in one place, making it freely available. And Wizards of the Coast leaned into that for many years, and they'd publish the deck list and they'd publish everything. And now they still publish everything. They'll still publish the full deck list, but just by the nature of how they're doing things. Do we want to get rid of that? That's an artifact creature. I think we just do 4 damage to it here. Exile it. And then we can still put down a friendly Teddy. So I don't think they intentionally set out to recreate the original. Was that the 3rd long goodbye? Way to shake it up there, Arena, with the shuffle. Okay, Ogier, I only have 1 copy of Ogier, so we're going to try this. Be another canary in the coal mine kind of thing. This is obviously a person who has a ton of removal. And there we go. Do I hold on to Ogier for a while then? Just because? Yeah, why not? We've got another friendly Teddy. Let's send that out. Yes, the deck is evil enough in that we're sending out little teddy bears to get killed, to get destroyed. Oh ho ho! Hello! I think we're starting to see the strategy here, just a ton of removal so that they can mill us out. Okay, we're just going to go all in then. You go away. And we start the attack. Hopefully they don't have a board wipe. I'm out of ammo. Ogier would just turn into a land, but it would take a lot of saving up of cards to have enough to translate it and get him back. I don't have a lot of 1-mana cards, so I would need more land as well. What's going on here? I see. Well, try this again. They're still going to face the same problems, but it bought them a turn. It's not bad. Ew. Ew. We got rid of 2 of those. Alright. 4 damage to target creature. And we're finally going to get some hits in here. 2 turn clock. What can you do? More heavy removal. Okay. Is that really all you have in the deck? And Death Touch is another kind of removal? Oh, seriously? Okay, Arena. That's 9 lands and 9 spells. Why is it when I go mono red, they just give me all of my land up top? We draw a card. Let's see if it does 1 point of damage. No, it does not. But it doesn't do any good for them to exile this and put it onto here. It's already got all that stuff. Now they kind of almost have to attack at some point, because if they don't have removal, they're going to take a point of damage from that each turn. Ah, part of the mill strategy. That probably means they waited till they have another Riverturn Monument in there. Shoot. How did we get past that? I think we're kind of stuck, yeah? Because of the Excruciator, they get to draw 2 cards. So we've got 4 cards left. And there's the kind of 2 turn clock there. Except I'm going to make them draw another card. Why are they oh, they don't want me to attack next turn? Are they really? They're at 13. What are they afraid of? That was 3 lands. I've got 1 more card. They've got 4. We each draw a card that way? I can't do that. So, no blocks there. It's going to work against me because we went up against a mill deck. They got me. Interesting. I haven't gone against a mill deck in a long time. But milling me out gets through all the rest of their draw phases. And they had just a ton. They had almost nothing but removal. And that is tough to go against, especially if you're mono red. If I was going up against them with a different deck, I would have had different tools. That would have been a different story. Mono red can be tough to deal against mill sometimes. Sabatender. That's a lot of cards. That's more cards for them to draw. Okay, 4. Whenever creature damage, draw a card. Okay. Let's just put down the tap land, starter damage, and do the attack. And here I could maybe put down Oger first. If they get rid of it and kill it, I've got 2 points of non-combat damage already. I just need a third. 1/5? Again, notice suddenly I'm facing creatures where the power is less than the toughness, whereas red has almost everything the power is equal to or greater than the toughness. Let's see. Beginning of combat on your turn on one other target creature. Is that going to pump up my creature? If they don't have another creature out there? It's on beginning of combat, so they got a chance to put something else out here. And I don't have an instant. They get one counter there. On up to. Okay, so they have the choice there. It's up to one other creature. Okay, seriously, Arena? I mean, I know that I... Oh, shoot, I did that wrong, too. I'm supposed to put that up first. Alright, well, we're going to do 1 point of damage here. That's not an instant. What if we just pass? Is there a place I can get them to where they stay? No, they're just going to keep on hitting me, aren't they? Okay, but we can do 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so if they just swing in and attack, then we've got lethal next turn. That's fine. They didn't. They didn't attack. And they didn't fight. They didn't fight to get rid of the Sabatender. Okay, that makes... So I don't have lethal. But we can still do this and do 4 points of damage. We can do this and do 4 more points of damage. We can do this and do 4 more points of damage. That's lovely. And then we do this. And then we attack with both of these. They block 4. They still take 2, down to 1. They kind of need a board wipe right now, don't they? Let's do this one, because it just turns into a land. And we have landfall. So their removal allowed us to win. You don't see that one every day. That one was worth a chuckle. That makes up for putting me up against a mill deck. Sometimes when you have mill decks going up against mono red, the mono red is just really quick, they're really cheap, and they're just trying to get you out within 4 or 5 turns, and the mill can't quite keep up a lot of times. With me, this is a strange deck because it's built to sort of do death by 1,000 cuts. Mono red isn't normally that kind of slow, but this is kind of a, you know, point a turn kind of thing. Lots of 1/1s, huh? Let's start with Friendly Teddy. I know normally we say put the Needlehead out first and then we put Teddy to get the card draw, but they might have removal. Alright. Let's do Scrawling Crawler first. Whenever they draw a card, they're going to lose life. If I get one more land, I could double the Needleheads. That would be awesome. If they don't have removal, then I won't even block. I'll just... Nope, they do have removal. Never mind. Yeah, they didn't want to put up with the life loss. We're down to 10, half dead. We did not get a land. So four draws so far, and we got 1 land. Thank you, Arena. That's very fair. How much you want to bet they're searching for removal? Thank you. Three damage. Hey, you like me now? Let's see, whenever you gain life. That can gain life. So what we're going to do is we're going to let that die. And we're going to double block that. We draw the 2 remaining kin, cause 2 more damage. But we're down to 6. So that's kind of bad. So we'll get rid of you. It still comes back as an enchantment. That's fine. We'll go ahead and get rid of you. We're going to lose 2 more life from this, yeah? 1 here. And 1 here. Down to 4. Hopefully they don't have haste. They're going to take 2 more here to put themselves down to 10. Or, never mind. And that's why we put the needleheads down last, is they do already have a couple of pieces of removal. Here's a nice little card. Get him down to 9. On the draw, this is going to be 4 points, because it's red damage. That is lovely. If they don't have removal now... Nope, that's not enough. That is not enough. What do we want to do? I guess we just want to get rid of it and just swing in for lethal, yeah? Oftentimes, that's all Mono Black needs to do, actually, is have a couple of pieces of removal and have some nice creatures. Storm Beacon Blade. We would need 3 or more attacking creatures. Sounds like we could shove that into a raccoon or a rabbit deck. Or put it on somebody with Mobilize. Would that trigger the right way? I'll have to test that. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you're a recent subscriber, go ahead and check out the full Kaizen Evil playlist. We start really evil. We are positively tame now compared to where we started. Someday we're just going to make an angel deck. That's the direction of this playlist. It's going to be heavenly. But we're not even halfway there yet, so we're still kind of pretty evil. When you're at the bottom, there's only one direction to go. Things are only going to get better. Friendly Teddy! Say hello, Teddy. That thing can kill my thing. Let's just do this. Exile. Attack! Ooh, hurt by the Friendly Teddy. It matches the evilness of my deck, right? We've got a teddy bear punching a frog in the face. I shouldn't have done that. That was wrong. Okay, so we attack. Kill it, please. Please block. They don't block. Okay, fine. We'll end the turn. This is gonna hurt. Seriously? 3 lands. Look at that. They got the absolute bestest ever mana curve and draw. And I have a card that can make it kill itself, and I'm not drawing it. And these are not nearly going to be enough. Yeah. Yeah, Arena dealt you exactly what you needed. You didn't even need the 4th land. Perfect draw. They got one of each card they needed in the right order. Always getting a land every turn. Must be nice. They're not being dealt one land in standard, non-ranked. We're not playing any blue. Let's go ahead and bring it down. We're probably gonna get blasted into oblivion. It's mono red versus mono red. I like the opponent's name is Max Power. They are ready. They're exiling. We don't care that it's exiled. What matters is they're gonna hurt. Red can be tricky because they have so many cheap instants that do damage. And our creatures are kind of cheap in toughness. So they actually have a chance before their draw phase to take that out so they could avoid 1 point of damage. If they're looking at it again and deciding, maybe I do want to get rid of it, that kind of shows you they made an error by letting that draw hit them for 1 point of damage in place. Will that 1 point make a big difference or not? Let's see, what can we do here? I feel like... Is that an instant? No, that's a sorcery. So let's just get rid of those now. And then bring down another one, so they're going to lose 2 points on the draw. They could have put a counter if they'd kept those creatures around. What do they get? +1 and they exile top card? Oh, got rid of... exile again. So this is an exile red deck. Still took a point of damage on the draw. Oh, this is lovely. And since you swung in to attack me, the way is open. I can just swing in with this. Hello, what happened to my screen? Stand by, we're experiencing technical difficulties. There we go. Okay, another point of damage. They'll be half dead. They're looking at everything I put down. They exile yet again another card. But they're leaving the cards that do damage on their card draw. I can't block the menace. So they could swing in and hit me again if they want. Another exile damage card. Okay. But you're tapped out. They're going to block now. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Friendly Teddy to the rescue. Come on. My first strike doesn't help me. I didn't include anything to pump up their power. I thought about it. I thought about including one instant that would, you know, add 3 and make it a 5/2 first striker all of a sudden. That's where we are. We're on upkeep before the draw step, and look what Arena's doing for them. 5 different damage spells, all of them exile, so that there's no chance of getting a creature back. Let's do this. Let's do this. Oh, now I get Oger. That's okay. Let's do that. 4 points there. If they don't have removal, there's 1 more point of damage on the draw. So that means they have a creature. They have Dragon Storm. Interesting. Impact Tremors. That is no good to them. Max power is gone. I feel a little bad. I've done other decks like this in the past where you take a spell and when they draw, it hurts them. Usually I'm playing black, so the evilness feels appropriate. Here, I'm just playing red. It feels like a bend in the color pie. I guess maybe it fits for the plane that we're involved in because we were in Duskmourn, and Duskmourn is a little bit more horror-oriented than any of the other planes. A little more twisted. So, I guess that works. But it does feel a little wrong in a way. It certainly would if it wasn't Duskmourn. It would definitely feel wrong that just because you've got a red card out that somehow, oh, guess what? Oh, you know what? Let's just kill that before they discard and make it grow. Yeah, just having a creature out and suddenly you're drawing and it hurts you to draw. Okay, so they get their stuff set up. Let's put out the needleheads first. Do they start the discard already? They do. What do we got here? Laborn Goblins. They would still need to pay 3 for the mayhem. There we go. And they cast it from someplace else, and it has haste. That's like an ideal opening draw for them, isn't it? We will kill this now with the Roaring Furnace. Down the land. Swing in for 2 more. 2 more. And 1 more on the draw. Is this another Mayhem card? Yes, it is. Ooh, that's going to make the other card even bigger. And they got... Oh, look at that. It's a black card. And they drew the black spell. Or the black land. Ouch. That hurts so much. That's 8. What if... What if we left 1 out as a chump blocker? Half-dead opponent. They got a 1-drop that benefited from the synergy of discard. They got a 2-drop that set up the rest of their entire slate. And they got Mayhem cards every single draw that are perfect for them. Unfortunately, there's a drawback to their battle plan. A lot of this is based on drawing and discarding. Never mind. They had an exact mythic rare that they needed to clear the field and leave theirs alone. And I'm down to 1. Well, Vengeful Possession is not enough. I've got to hope they don't have removal and just chump block both of them. They do a damage though, right? If they can cast something. And all my cards that punish them for drawing are gone. They're going to kill me just by summoning that. Again, notice how Arena's giving these things the perfect draw. 1 mana card, 2 mana to set everything up for them, 3 mana haste, perfect color, and timing for the 4-mana card that brings their exact card back from the graveyard. You can't ask for better than that. That was like the green deck. Arena goes into tryhard mode when we start winning too many games. Eight cards to do damage when they draw cards. We don't have any of them. And no blue still. We're just going up against black and red mostly. If they kill this, at least we get a card out of it along with them. There we go. They spent 3 life? Okay. Well, it's a 2-2, I guess. They've got their sanctuary. Let's put out the raptor. You got another removal spell you want to use now while you can, and maybe take 4 damage to the face? Yes, you do. They spent 3 to pay for it. They're now half dead. That doesn't mean anything. They were another opponent was half dead, and he had no problems coming back and killing us real quick. They have their own demolition field in case we have something like Soulstone Sanctuary. I don't even know if I have a copy of Soulstone Sanctuary yet. I gotta look. It's a very popular card. Everybody's using it. Again, it's going to be not their turn. So we're going to put this down and see if they fall for it again. I can only hope they have another Bitter Triumph. No, they're reading the card this time. I've got trickery here because the Raptor does it that way. But Adrenaline Jockey does the same thing. But it's a different card. So if you're not paying attention, they're going to wait till their turn if they have removal this time. They can pay 4 and have that become a blocker. Ah, that got rid of it. Okay. That got rid of everything, didn't it? Don't have many special lands. They used what they could. I guess we'll hold on to Playful Shove for a minute. These are all sorceries instead of instants, so they don't help us if we run our 2-drop into Soulstone Sanctuary. But this one, we'll just exile. And now we can run in. Sort of putting down my lands and hoping they don't have a discard spell. I'm going to need all of this. Ah, gross. And I drew a land off of that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. They've got to know this is a trick. They're not going to block. Yeah. I mean, it's not even worth me putting down the land. Notice how Arena just turns out, and we just flood out with lands. There's no point. I mean, I can do this to start with, maybe. This will get rid of one of them. Let's go get another card. And that doesn't matter. They can turn this into a... Where is it? They can turn this into a... They just have another one. That's 3 Bloodletters of Alcazatz in their top. And they got 7 lands, right? So, 8 including Demolition. Well, 7, because Demolition kind of replaces itself. 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 lands and 7 spells so far. And I've got a chump block here while they go above 20. And I've got 2 threats. And they give me a 2-drop. I have all these answers in my deck. All those answers. Well... it's just land again. Okay. Yeah. He's got me already. I'm dead up top. I'm dead up top. Arena. That was 9 lands. Nine lands and 9 spells. And that wasn't 9 turns because I kept drawing through my deck with the playful shoves. I'm probably... Maybe I need to put in a couple of cards that just allow me to draw one and draw 2 and discard 1. Do a little bit of the rummaging. Just to filter through all those lands if this is what they're going to do to me. The opponent mulligans this time. 3 colors. Hey, there's some blue in there this time. A lot of life gain for them. Slightly greedy to put this out first. Oh, is this a Simulacrum deck? They can get 3 life back anytime. But if they have creatures, we've got some nice removal ready for them. Never mind. See how important the red is to them. Yep. Made sure they still have 3 colors. We just attack. Maybe we don't attack. No attacks there. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Flyer. Let's get rid of the flyer. That was going to scale up. Now it is not. Patched Plaything. Interesting choice. Going away. I just need 1 more land so I could bring Odru down and do Tectonic Hazard on the same turn. Give a surprise 4 damage to a creature. Oh, hello. I didn't expect that, actually. Alright, we're kind of going back and forth as far as the win-loss ratio with this deck. going to do one more. Every now and then, you like to come up against a deck that's not prepared for it in the sense of maybe they're not just all black with like 22 removal cards in their deck, or they're not mono red that just blast your 2-drops all over the place. If you can get any kind of standoff where you can do some impressive damage. But we start as we usually do with the friendly teddy bear. It's kind of bad. I've got 8 cards that allow you to be punished for drawing. I'm not liking the frequency with which I'm drawing those. Our mana curve generally seems to be good enough to get us off to a good start. Get them about half dead at any particular point in time. Oh, you did that on my turn. We get a card. You could have a blocking creature on your turn. See if they make that mistake again. Oh, they put out a station. Chance for a lifelink. And we do have things that destroy artifacts hidden in the deck. Adrenaline Jockey does the same thing. And if they put down something like an Orboroid, we've actually got things immediately ready for it. Life gain. They warped that in. They warped this in. They get a card draw. What is that? 2 and 3. So let's do Playful Shove on this. Let's get it out of the way. Notice we're flooding out with our lands already. Get them half dead again. What are they up to? 9? So they can put this as a 3/5 flying lifelinker next turn. I can get rid of it with Scorching Shot, but they're still going to gain the life. And the other creatures already get the +1. They didn't attack. That was a mistake. 3/3 now. I can take out 3 3s. Ooh, we can exile that next turn. Or sacrifice it and exile a good card. And this is kind of the backup strategy of the deck by having so many cards that deal damage when it's not their turn. It makes it so, even with the life gain decks, they have to be careful. They have to put everything on their side on their turn. And they can't react the way that they normally would. It forces them to change the pattern of their play in a way that they weren't expecting to. So the deck kind of has a 1-2 punch to it. If I can't get them one way with throwing the draw pain cards, I can get them the other way with pain when you act on my turn. So it's not normally you see rooms that are just completely ignored. I like to be contrarian like that sometimes and just take an isolated look at one of the 2 rooms of Duskmourn and say, what's a good deck to put this into where I don't have to worry about dual mana for a change, where I can be monocolor and just have a really good card and just ignore the backside for a change. Or one side of the room anyway. Didn't really get to use the Hidden Volcanoes at all. I don't know if I should bother putting in more. It's not like a lot of our matches aren't going long enough. I'm not sure how else to mix up the deck. In the Needlehead is the primary wave. I like having the Raptors in there as my backup, and having instead of having 4 Raptors, having one Adrenaline Jockey that just does the same thing, but it's such a different artwork on the card, different expansion. You might catch somebody off guard. So it's a deck that's purposefully designed to be a little tricky, and not have you expect it. And then finally we've got one little. I only have one copy of this. I didn't make extra copies of Would Your Arsenal yet, but just if you can get that down at the right time and place, and then just take a 1 damage card and it's doing 4 damage to everybody, every creature on the field, this can be a really nice bushwhack kind of a card too. So the whole deck is kind of designed to be painful in more than one way. But I think the most insidious and evil is turning the card draw around on you and making a problem for you instead of the normal advantage that it is. So that was the idea. It did okay. It's kind of opened another door in Arena so that I was facing some things that I don't normally face. So I kind of like that too, because at least it gives me variety. You notice we didn't come up against any land draw decks or any landfall decks tonight. That's very strange. We did come up against landfall. I would put that up against me. We didn't come up against any blue control decks really either. And it finally opened the door to mill decks against me too. So a little bit of variety tonight in the way that Arena decided to face me. So this is another reason why I like to make these off-meta decks, just because, hey, you know, I can go for 3-4 days in a row and just face landfall deck after boring landfall deck. If I get interesting enough in my concept and start using cards that very few people are using, you know, everybody's using like the 3-drop Mythic Rare Nemesis card and stuff like that these days. You know, if I pivot and move to some cards like this, it's going to open up a different section of Arena. Arena's going to try and analyze the deck differently, and it's going to try and pit different things against me. So even if I do get my butt handed to me on the occasional match where they give them the perfect draw, at least I still get to see a different kind of strategy, a different kind of deck composition coming at me. And I find that a little more entertaining than usual myself. So let me know in the comments if you agree. As always, we ask you to like and subscribe. That's all we're going to do for tonight. But if you have any other questions, of course, put those in the comments, and you'll have a good one. I'll catch you next time.